Nakakagulantang na emotional moment noong Agosto 15, 2024, exactly 7:30 p.m. sa intimate documentary interview filmed sa Tagum City, Davao del Norte, where GMA network crew was shooting special feature titled Before the Acknowledgement, Eman's Journey. Director asked simple question, "Eman, can you take us back to your life before Manny Pacquiao acknowledged you as his son? What was childhood like?" 20-year-old aspiring boxer, who had just won his recent amateur bout weeks prior, suddenly broke down completely, tears streaming uncontrollably, unable to speak for several minutes, overcome by memories of poverty, abandonment, struggle, Mama Joanna Rose's sacrifices, years of feeling worthless, invisible, unwanted, raw vulnerability captured on camera. Director almost stopped filming, pero Eman gestured to continue. "People need to know this story, need to understand where I came from." Confession that would air September 2024, generate 45 million views, move entire nation to tears, reveal painful truth behind young fighters' determination. Mga kaibigan, bago natin buksan ang absolutely heartbreaking story na ito tungkol sa Eman Bacosa's life, before acknowledgement, before opportunities, before training, when he was just forgotten child struggling to survive with single mother sa Tagum City. Kailangan kong malaman, nasaan kayo nanonood ngayon? Taga Davao ba? Tagum City kung saan lumaki si Eman? Manila? Other provinces? Abroad? Comment your exact location. At painful question, how many of you grew up without father? How many experienced poverty na hindi alam kung makakakain bukas? How many felt abandoned, unwanted, invisible? Share your story, if comfortable. Subscribe now para sa buong emotional journey na magpapakita ng true meaning ng resilience. I-on notifications, mag-like, share para mas maraming makarelate. This story will break your heart, then heal it. Ang documentary project actually began June 2024, when GMA Network approached Eman through contacts who knew his story. Proposal was straightforward, 1-hour special documenting his journey from unknown kid sa Tagum City to acknowledged son of boxing legend, focus on his struggles, his mother Joanna Rose's sacrifices, his dreams of following father's footsteps in boxing, standard human interest formato. Eman initially declined. "I'm just starting my boxing journey. I'm nobody special yet. YW. Would people care?" Uncomfortable with attention, still processing recent changes in his life, pero director Marisa Santos persisted. "Eman, your story inspires people, not just boxing fans, pero everyone struggling, single parents, abandoned children, poor families. They see themselves in you. Sharing your journey gives them hope." Argument resonated. Eman agreed with one condition. "If we do this, we tell real story, not sanitized version. The actual painful truth of what growing up was like. People deserve honest." Thai. Production began July 2024. Crew traveled to Tagum City, Davao del Norte, small city where Eman had spent his childhood, population around 250,000, known for palm oil industry more than boxing, working-class community where everyone knew everyone's business, including whispered rumors about Joanna Rose's son possibly being Manny Pacquiao's child, stories that circulated for years pero never confirmed publicly until recently. Crew filmed exterior shots of locations significant to Eman's Chile. Tud, old apartment building where he and Joanna Rose lived during difficult years. Public elementary school he attended. Neighborhood basketball court where he played with friends. Local Sari Sari store where Joanna Rose worked part-time. Physical locations triggering memories for young man who'd tried to forget painful past. August 15 was scheduled for main interview. Crew set up in modest house, not luxurious pero significant upgrade from previous living situations. Eman arrived 6 p.m. after morning training session at local gym, where he was preparing for upcoming amateur bouts, visibly nervous. This would be first time publicly discussing childhood in detail. He'd always been private. Quiet kid who kept struggles to himself. Protecting privacy. Protecting mother's dignity. Protecting himself from having to relive. Pain pero documentary required vulnerability. Couldn't tell authentic story without emotional truth. Marissa began gently. Eman, you were born 2004. Your mother, Joanna Rose, was young. Manny Pacquiao was already established boxer. They had brief relationship. When did you first become aware of who your father might be? Eman shifted uncomfortably. I didn't have clear answer until I was teenager. Growing up, Mama never told me directly. She said my father was someone who couldn't be in our lives, that he had his own family, his own responsibilities. She never spoke badly about him, never blamed him, just said it was complicated. I accepted that as child. You accept what you're told. Pero I always wondered, I'd see other kids with fathers, see them playing basketball together, going to school programs, I'd wonder why I didn't have that, what was wrong with me. First crack in composure, voice wavering, memories flooding back of childhood confusion, innocent questions that had no good answers. Marissa asked about daily life in Tagum City during those early years. Eman took deep breath. We were poor, like really poor, not struggling to make ends meet poor, like choosing between food or electricity poor. Mama worked multiple jobs, house cleaning for wealthier families, laundry services, sometimes street vending, whatever she could find. Tagum, small city, doesn't have many opportunities. She did everything to provide. I remember being maybe 7 or 8 years old, Mama crying because she couldn't afford to buy me new uniform for school. I was wearing hand-me-downs from cousin that didn't fit properly. Other kids noticed. They're cruel that age. Called me names. Pobre. Walang ama. Words that cut deep even when you're too young to fully understand them. Memories were surfacing now. Eman's eyes glistening. I remember one Christmas, maybe 2011 or 2012. I was around 7 or 8. We couldn't afford presents. Couldn't afford special Noche Buena. Mama tried her best. She saved maybe $100 from her work. Bought ingredients for simple spaghetti. Cooked it on our small stove. Served it like it was feast. Put candle on our wobbly table. Sang Christmas carols with just the two of us. Tried to make it feel magical. I didn't understand then what that represented. How many meals she'd probably skip to save that P100. How much it hurt her that she couldn't give me what other kids had. I just knew Mama was trying. That was enough for little me. Now as adult I understand the sacrifice. It breaks my heart. School experiences were particularly painful, Eman explained. Elementary school in Tagum, everyone knows everyone's family situation. There are no secrets in small city. Kids knew I didn't have father. They knew we were poor. They knew rumors about my mama and Manny Pacquiao. Pero since it was never confirmed, since Manny never acknowledged me, it was just gossip, ammunition for bullies. Your father is famous boxer, pero he doesn't even want you. If you were really Pacquiao's son, he would claim you. Your mama is lying for attention. Comments like that, constant, relentless. I became very quiet, very withdrawn, didn't want to attract attention, didn't want to defend something I wasn't even sure was true, just wanted to disappear. Around age 12 or 13, curiosity became unbearable. I went to internet cafe, paid P10 for 30 minutes, searched Manny Pacquiao, stared at pictures looking for resemblance, trying to see myself in his FYI. Teachers couldn't tell definitively, pero there were similarities. I read about his life, his success, his family, his other children, who had his name, his resources, his presence, complete life that didn't include me. I felt this overwhelming confusion. If he is my father, why doesn't he want me? What did I do wrong? Am I not good enough? Those questions haunted me for years, shaped how I saw myself, created deep insecurity that I'm still working to overcome even now at 20 years old. Tears started falling. Eman tried wiping them, pero they kept coming. I finally asked Mama directly when I was maybe 14, "Is Manny Pacquiao really my father?" She looked scared, like secret she'd protected was out. She sat me down, said, "Yes, anak, he is. Pero his situation is complicated. He has other family, other responsibilities. It's not that he doesn't care, pero circumstances are difficult." I asked if he knew about me. She said yes, he knew. He'd provided some financial help over the years through third-party, discreet support, pero he wasn't ready to publicly acknowledge me. It would complicate his life, his marriage, his public image. I understood the words, pero I didn't understand how biology could be acknowledged privately, pero denied publicly. How I could exist, pero be invisible. Next few years were identity crisis. Eman detailed. Knowing who my father was made everything harder. I'd watch his fights on TV when they were broadcast, see him celebrated as national hero, people worshiping him, loving him, treating him like he could do no wrong. Meanwhile, I was nobody. His secret, his complication. I felt resentment, anger, confusion, pero also strange pride. That's my father, my blood. Half of me comes from him. Complicated emotions for teenager to process. I started boxing around age 15, partly because I wanted connection to him, only way I could feel close to someone who felt impossibly far away. Partly because I was angry, needed outlet. Boxing gave me both. Training was difficult without resources. I joined local boxing gym in Tagum, place called Davao del Norte Boxing Gym. They let poor kids train for free if they showed dedication. I used worn gloves, sometimes no gloves, just wrapped hands. Watched YouTube videos learning technique since we couldn't afford proper coaching initially. IT, rained obsessively, was good release for emotions, for anger, for pain. I was naturally athletic. Had some of his genetics, I guess. Coaches noticed, said I had potential. Started entering local amateur tournaments. Won some, lost some. Was learning, growing, dreaming that maybe if I got good enough, if I won enough, he'd notice me, acknowledge me. Stupid teenage logic, pero it motivated me. Marissa asked about Joanna Rose's perspective during these years. Eman's voice filled with emotion. Mama was everything. She's my hero. She sacrificed her entire youth for me. Her 20s and 30s were spent working multiple jobs, putting my needs first. She could have given me up, could have moved on with her life, found someone else. Instead, she dedicated herself to raising me with dignity despite having so little. Whenever I expressed anger toward my father, she'd defend him. Eman, your father is good man in difficult situation. Don't hate him. Focus on being best version of yourself. She never allowed bitterness to take root. Never weaponized me against him. Maintained grace I didn't appreciate until recently. Now I understand she was protecting my heart, teaching me that forgiveness is stronger than resentment. Documentary showed old photos Joanna Rose had saved. Young Eman in oversized shorts at local basketball court. Skinny teenager with serious expression wearing boxing gloves too big for his hands. Images of childhood marked by poverty, pero also by determination. Eman Nar. Rated, I was angry teenager. That anger fueled my boxing. I fought aggressively. Wanted to prove something. Wanted to prove I mattered. That I was worthy. Even if my father didn't see it. I worked construction jobs at 16, 17 to help mama. Trained at night, barely slept. Was exhausted constantly, pero felt I had to prove I wasn't burden. That I could contribute. That I deserved to exist. Heavy weight for teenage shoulders, pero I carried it. Turning point came around 2022-2023, when man was 18-19 years old. Social media was spreading stories about Manny's children outside marriage, investigative journalists digging into his past. My situation became more public. People in Tagum were talking. Media started asking questions. Pressure mounted on Manny to address it. I watched from distance as my private pain became public spectacle. Tabloids speculating. Fans demanding DNA tests. It was humiliating, pero also validating. In strange way, I wasn't crazy. I wasn't delu, sayonal. This was real. Other people saw it too. Eventually acknowledgement came. Details Eman kept private in interview. There was private meeting. Conversations I won't share all details of, kasi they're between him and me. Pero he acknowledged me, said I was his son. Apologized for years of absence. Offered support moving forward. It was complicated moment. 30 years too late for child who needed father. Pero meaningful for 20-year-old trying to build identity. We're building relationship. IP now, it's awkward. It's slow. It's not traditional father-son, pero it's something. He's helping me with boxing training, with opportunities, with resources I never had. I'm grateful for that, while also grieving what could have been if he'd been present from beginning. Ano kaya ang message ni Eman sa kanyang younger self? Marissa's most powerful question came next. Eman, if you could go back, talk to 7-year-old version of yourself eating simple spaghetti on Christmas, being called names at school, wondering why father didn't want him, what would you tell him? Eman tried to respond, open-mouthed. No words came. Tears overwhelmed him. 20 years of accumulated pain surfacing. He covered face with hands, shoulders shaking. Crew wanted to stop, pero he shook his head, needed to get this out. After several minutes, composed himself enough to speak. At ang message na ibibigay niya would become most viral moment of documentary, clip shared millions of times, quoted everywhere, becoming anthem for abandoned children worldwide. Eman steadied himself, wiped tears, looked directly at camera, speaking to past self. I would tell him, you are not mistake. You are not burden. You are not consequence of someone's poor choices. You are person. You are valuable. You are worthy of love exactly as you are. Your father's absence doesn't define your worth. It defines his limitations, his fears, his weaknesses, not yours. You are enough. Always have been enough. Mama sees it even if he doesn't. That's what matters. Her love is real. Her presence is real. Her sacrifice proves you matter. Focus on that. Hold on to that. I would tell him, being poor doesn't make you less human, less deserving, less important. Poverty is circumstance, not identity. It's what you're experiencing, not who you are. Those kids calling you names they don't understand, they haven't lived what you're living. Their cruelty says everything about their lack of empathy and nothing about your value. Someday you'll have enough. You'll never worry about food, or uniform, or electricity. Pero you'll remember what this felt like. You'll remember every insult, every hungry night, every moment of shame, and you'll use that memory to be kind, to be generous, to help others. That's purpose being born from pain. I would tell him, you're going to start boxing. It'll feel like connection to father you've never met. It'll become outlet for anger you don't know how to process. That's okay. Use it. Channel it. Boxing will teach you discipline, resilience, how to take hit and keep moving forward. Those lessons will serve you beyond ring. In life, in relationships, in healing. You won't be champion immediately, maybe not ever, pero you'll be fighter. That's more important. Fighter is someone who doesn't give up, who gets knocked down and stands up, who faces pain and chooses to continue. That's who you are. That's who you'll become. I would tell him, Mama is sacrificing more than you realize. Every meal she gives you, she's eating less herself. Every peso she spends on your needs, she's denying her own. Every smile she shows you, she's hiding her own tears. Appreciate her. Help her. Be good son, not to earn love, pero to reciprocate love she freely gives. Someday you'll be able to provide for her, to give her comfort she never had, to repay tiny fraction of what she's given you. That day will feel like victory, bigger than any boxing match. Work toward that. Make that your goal. I would tell him, your father will eventually acknowledge you. It'll happen when you're older, almost adult. It'll be complicated. You'll feel relief and resentment simultaneously. You'll want to forgive and to rage. All those feelings are valid. All of them deserve space. Don't rush healing. Don't force relationship that needs time to build. Don't pretend decades of absence don't matter just because he shows up eventually. Pero also, don't let bitterness poison you. Don't let his mistakes become your prison. Forgive for yourself, not for him. Forgiveness is GG if you give yourself. Liberation from anger that only hurts you. He'll try to make amends, judge him by his actions, not his words. Consistency, not promises. Presence, not money. I would tell him, 20 years from now, you'll sit in documentary interview. Director will ask you to speak to younger self. You'll cry. You'll break down because wounds don't completely disappear. They scar over. Pero they're still tender. That's normal. That's human. Healing isn't linear. It's messy. It's ongoing. Will be good days and hard days. Moments when you feel strong and moments when you feel like that 7-year-old again. That's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be always strong. You're allowed to be hurt by what hurt you, allowed to grieve what you lost, allowed to mourn childhood that should have been different. Acknowledging pain is part of healing, not weakness. Most importantly, I would tell him, your story matters, your experience matters, your survival matters. You think you're invisible, pero you're not. You think nobody cares, pero they do. Mama cares. Someday thousands of people will watch your story and cry with you, see themselves in you, find hope through you. You'll help people just by being honest about pain, by refusing to pretend everything's fine when it's not. That's power you don't know you have yet. Power to connect, to heal, to inspire. By surviving, you're already winning. By continuing, you're already champion. Keep going. I promise it gets better. Not perfect, but better. Survivable, sometimes even beautiful. Just keep going. By end, Eman was sobbing. Crew was crying. Marissa was wiping tears. Entire room filled with emotion. Documentary footage was rawer than anything they'd planned. This wasn't polished television. This was human soul laid bare. Vulnerability that would resonate with millions because everyone's felt some version of this pain. Abandonment takes many forms. Pero the wound is universal. Feeling unwanted, unworthy, invisible. Eman had articulated it with honesty that bypassed defenses, touched hearts directly. Marissa gave him time to compose, then asked final questions about current relationship with Manny. Eman was measured. We're building something. It's not traditional father-son relationship. Too many years were lost for that. Pero it's connection. He's supporting my boxing journey now, providing training opportunities, introducing me to people in sport. I'm grateful for that support, while also working through complicated feelings about past. Therapy helps. Talking to mama helps. Time helps. Don't know if I'll ever fully forgive him, pero I'm trying. For my own peace, not for his redemption. We're both trying. That's what matters. Effort, consistency, showing up even when it's awkward. About boxing aspirations. I'm not champion yet. I'm still developing, still learning, still earning my place in sport. I don't want to be known as just Manny Pacquiao's son. I want to be Eman Bacosa, fighter in my own right. I train hard. I study. I dedicate myself. Whether I reach championship level or not, I'll know I gave everything. That's enough. Proving something to myself, not to anyone else, not even to him. Boxing is my path, pero it doesn't define my worth. I've learned that lesson. My worth comes from character, from how I treat people, from values mama instilled, from surviving what I survived and choosing to be kind anyway. That's real championship. Documentary wrapped with footage of Eman training, hitting mitts, working bag, dedication visible in every movement. Marissa's voice. Over. Eman Bacosa is only 20 years old. His boxing career is just beginning. His relationship with famous father is still developing. His healing from childhood trauma is ongoing. Pero what's already clear is his character, his resilience, his refusal to let circumstances define him. In interview, he spoke to younger self with compassion. He's still learning to give himself, reminded 7-year-old Eman that he was enough. Message all of us need to hear, regardless of our wounds, our stories, our struggles. We are enough exactly as we are. That's Eman's gift to us. Reminder that survival is victory, that continuing despite pain is heroism, that sharing our truth helps others find theirs. Documentary aired September 8, 2024, Sunday primetime, drew massive ratings. Social media exploded with response. You Are Enough trended. Clip of Eman talking to younger self went viral. Over 100 million views globally. Celebrities shared it. Ordinary people shared it. Became cultural moment. PH. Philippines collectively grieved with this young man. Celebrated his mother. Discussed father absence, poverty, resilience. Conversations happened in living rooms, classrooms, therapy offices, barbershops, everywhere. Eman's vulnerability had given permission for others to be vulnerable, to acknowledge their pain, to seek healing. Joanna Rose watched documentary with mixed emotions. Pride in son's courage to share story, sadness that he'd suffered, gratitude that he honored her. She gave interview to local Tagum City News. I'm proud of my son. Not because he might become boxer, pero because he's good man, kind heart. Despite hard life, he didn't let bitterness destroy him. That's victory. As mother, I just wanted him to survive, to be okay. He's more than okay. He's extraordinary. Not because of boxing, pero because of Chara. I'm blessed to be his mama. Maternal love evident, viewers saw where Eman got his strength, his grace, his resilience. Manny Pacquiao's response was private initially. Called Eman after documentary aired. I watched it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for pain I caused. For years I wasn't there. I can never make it right, pero I'll try. I'll keep trying. Eman appreciated call. I know, salamat for watching, for understanding, for trying now. That's what I need. Effort, presence, consistency. We're building something. It takes time, pero we're trying. Small step, ongoing journey, no instant resolution, pero commitment to process. Ano ang lasting impact ng documentary? Impact was immediate and profound. Within week, Philippine Department of Social Welfare announced new programs specifically supporting single mothers and children of absent fathers. Inspired by Eman's story, celebrities began speaking about their own experiences with father absence, abandonment, creating movement of vulnerability. Pero most touching responses came from ordinary people. Thousands of messages to Eman sharing their stories. I'm 40 years old. My father never acknowledged me. I thought I was alone. Thank you for showing I'm not. I'm single mother of 3 struggling like your mama did. Your words gave me strength to continue. I'm teenager being bullied for being poor. You showed me poverty doesn't define worth. Thank you. Each message proof that sharing truth creates connection. Healing ripples outward. In weeks following documentary, Eman's life transformed in unexpected ways. He'd expected some attention, pero not the overwhelming response. Interview requests flooded in. Brands wanted to sponsor him. Schools invited him to speak. Pero most meaningful were personal connections. Strangers approaching him in Tagum City sharing their own stories. I never knew my father either. My mother raised me alone too. I survived poverty like you. Instant bonds formed through shared experience. Eman realized his story wasn't just his. It was collective story of thousands, millions of Filipinos with similar wounds, similar struggles, similar resilience. He received invitation to speak at National Conference on Child Welfare, November 2024, Manila. Audience of social workers, psychologists, government officials. Eman was nervous. I'm not public speaker, I'm boxer. What do I know about policy? Pero organizers insisted. Your voice matters. Lived experience matters more than degrees. Speak your truth. That's enough. He prepared remarks. Practiced with Joanna Rose. On conference day spoke from heart. I'm here not as expert, pero as survivor. As someone who lived what we're discussing. Children need fathers. When they don't have them, they need support systems. They need single mothers to be honored, not stigmatized. They need poverty to be addressed, not ignored. They need to know their worth isn't determined by who claims them. As society, we can do better. We must do better. Every child deserves to feel wanted, to have opportunities, to believe in themselves. That's not privilege, that's right. Speech received standing ovation, led to policy discussions. Philippine Congress began drafting legislation, Responsible Fatherhood Act, requiring fathers to acknowledge all biological children, provide support, participate in parenting regardless of relationship with mother, penalty, S for abandonment, support for single mothers. Comprehensive approach inspired partly by Eman's advocacy. Bill was debated, revised, eventually passed March 2025, signed into law, landmark legislation that would affect thousands of families. Eman attended signing ceremony. President acknowledged him. Your courage to share painful truth helped create change. This law will help ensure other children don't experience what you experienced. Thank you. Moment of vindication. Pain transformed into purpose. Boxing career continued developing. Eman won several more amateur bouts late 2024. Compiled respectable record. Wasn't prodigy. Wasn't instant champion. Pero showed steady improvement, dedication. Coaches were impressed. He works harder than anyone, first to arrive, last to leave, soaks up knowledge, humble despite having famous father, that humility will serve him. By early 2025, there was talk of turning professional, carefully, properly, not rushing, pero building foundation. Manny was involved, Ed connecting Eman with quality trainers, sparring partners, opportunities he'd lacked growing up, complicated dynamic, accepting help from father who'd been absent, pero Eman focused on goal. I'll use resources available, I'll work harder than anyone, I'll prove I deserve opportunities not because of surname pero because of effort. Relationship with Manny deepened slowly through boxing, sport became common language when words were difficult, working mitts together, discussing strategy, watching fights, shared passion bridging years of distance wasn't perfect, trust was still building. Eman had boundaries. You're helping me now and I appreciate it, pero you weren't there when I needed father most. I can't pretend that doesn't matter. We're building something new, but we can't erase past. Manny respected honesty. I understand. I'll earn your trust through actions, through being present, through consistency. I failed you as child. I won't fail you as adult. Commitment he was keeping, showing up to fights, to training, to life, slowly proving words with deeds. Joanna Rose's life improved significantly. Financial stress eased with support from Manny, with income from Eman's small endorsements, with donations from people moved by her story. She was able to reduce work hours, focus on health, take care of herself after years of pure survival. Eman made sure she had everything she needed. Mama, you sacrificed for me 20 years. Now I take care of you, non-negotiable. He bought her modest house in Tagum, nothing extravagant pero safe, comfortable, hers. Seeing her settled brought him more satisfaction than any boxing victory. This is what I fought for, not titles, not fame, pero this, Mama having peace, having security, having rest she deserves. Documentary won awards, Best Documentary at PMPC Star Awards, special recognition at Gawad Tanglao, pero more important than trophies was lasting impact, became required viewing in social work programs, counseling courses, teacher training. Eman's message to younger self was studied as example of CLF compassion, therapeutic communication, healing through narrative. His story became case study in resilience research, how children survive trauma, what factors protect them. Joanna Rose's parenting, despite poverty, was analyzed as model of attachment despite adversity. Academic validation of what they'd lived, recognition that their survival was extraordinary, not ordinary. Year after documentary, August 2024, Eman returned to Tagum City for community event. City officials honored him with recognition. Outstanding Son of Tagum, ceremony at City Hall, but more meaningful was walking through old neighborhood, kids who'd once called him names now asking for autographs, families who'd witnessed his poverty now celebrating his success. Sorry store owner where Joanna Rose had worked approaching with tears. I knew you'd make it. I watched you grow up, proud Kanami. And community claiming him, embracing him, evidence that you can leave home but home never leaves you. At elementary school he'd attended, principal invited him to speak to students, many from poor families struggling like he had. Eman stood in front of assembly, saw himself in their faces, young eyes carrying wounds they shouldn't have to carry. I'm not here to tell you poverty doesn't matter. It does, it's hard, it's painful, it's unfair. I won't pretend otherwise. Pero I'm here to tell you poverty is temporary. It's what you're experiencing, not who you are. Your worth exists independent of circumstances. You are valuable exactly as you are. Some of you don't have fathers present. I didn't either. That hurt, still hurts sometimes. Pero I had mother who loved me enough for two parents. If you have someone who believes in you, hold on to that. If you don't, believe in yourself. I know that's hard. Pero try. Just keep trying. One day at a time. You're stronger than you know. I believe in you even if nobody else does. Students cried, teachers cried, Eman cried, collective emotional rally. As afterward, dozens of kids approached him. Salamat for understanding. Salamat for being honest. Salamat for not giving up. Each interaction reminder of why sharing story mattered. Why vulnerability was strength, not weakness. Why representation was crucial. These kids needed to see someone who came from where they came from and survived, thrived. They needed hope with face like theirs, name like theirs, story like theirs. Eman gave them that greatest gift possible. By late 2025, Eman was preparing for professional boxing debut, planned for early 2026, properly managed, properly trained, properly supported, still underdog, still developing, pero no longer invisible, no longer unwanted, no longer question mark. He was Eman Bacosa, acknowledged son of Manny Pacquiao. But more importantly, Eman Bacosa, survivor, advocate, fighter in every sense of word. His worth no longer tied to father's acknowledgement, pero to his own character, his own choices, his own jure. Nay, exactly as he'd told 7-year-old self, you are enough. He'd learned to believe it, live it, embody it. Christmas 2025, Eman hosted celebration in Joanna Rose's new house, invited extended family, documentary crew, friends from Tagum, small intimate gathering. Manny attended. First Christmas together as acknowledged family, still awkward, still healing, pero present. Eman made toast. This time last year we were filming documentary. I was breaking down talking about Christmases past, spaghetti dinners that were all mama could afford, feeling poor, feeling abandoned, feeling invisible. This Christmas, as is different, not because we have more, though we do, pero because we've healed more, grown more, connected more. Mama, salamat for 21 years of sacrifice, for loving me when I felt unlovable, for staying when leaving would have been easier, for being both parents when one wasn't there. This house is yours. This peace is yours. You earned it. I love you. To everyone here, salamat for being part of journey, for supporting, for believing, for showing up. Family isn't just blood, it's choice. You chose us, we chose you, that's what matters. Joanna Rose's response was simple. My baby, you've repaid me 1,000 times over just by being good man, kind heart. You didn't let pain make you bitter. You let it make you better. That's my pride. That's my joy. I never doubted you. Even when you doubted yourself, I saw your heart, your strength, your future. I knew you'd be okay. More than okay. You'd be great. Not because of boxing, pero because of who you are. As person, as soul. That's kanyang. My greatest achievement. Not raising boxer, pero raising man of character. I'm blessed to be your mama. I'd do it all again. Every struggle, every sacrifice, every tear. All of it. For you. Always for you. Father and son's eyes met across table. Manny nodded. Eman nodded back. No words needed. Understanding passing between them. Journey wasn't complete. Trust was still building. Wounds were still healing. Pero they were trying. Both committed to showing up. To building relationship that honored P. Resent while acknowledging past. That was enough. That was progress. That was hope. Exactly what Eman needed. Exactly what 7-year-old version of him deserved. Family that chose him. Father who claimed him. Future that welcomed him. Worth that was inherent, not earned. Enough, finally, blessedly enough.